Mark 8 GTI Clubsport or Mark 8 Golf R, which should you get? Two cars which I've driven quite a few times on my channel actually in recent months, and check it out from the content that I produce. Both cars I feel are absolutely fantastic and really thoroughly enjoyed driving them, and particularly from subscribers of the channel as well, getting to know them a little bit more, getting to understand the cars from the people that actually own them and live with them day to day. As well as experiencing them for myself. Now, first of all, as I've just said, both cars are great and you can't really go wrong, otherwise I wouldn't talk about them on the channel. The GTI Clubsport for me was the big surprise. It's a car that, if you've followed me for quite a while, at the start of the year, I didn't really understand it. I didn't really understand the positioning of it. I kind of thought, just get a Mark 8 Golf R. That was my honest thoughts. The moment I drove it and then drove it again, drove it a couple more times and got to know the owners and stuff, yeah, there is a reason for it. It has its own purpose. It has its differences from the Mark 8 Golf R. Both cars are actually very, very similar. GTI Clubsport being front wheel drive, being that little bit lighter, and having a little bit less grip just means it's a little bit more playful, I found. A little bit more fun on some of those back roads, a little bit less stability in that regards, just as quick, to be honest. I never really recognised it being any slower than a Mark 8 Golf R. And it looks the part as well, obviously comes with the rear spoiler kind of as standard. Yeah, it's a good fun car, more kind of red touches on the outside as well than more of a subtle Mark 8 Golf R. Fantastic car, drove really well, pulled really, really well. Both cars have the same seats, so you can't really say anything different in driving position. Steering feel, it's exactly the same. I mean, if anything, possibly the Golf R was a little bit better. Sometimes the GTI Clubsport can scrabble around for grip, sometimes. In a really wet day or a cold British morning, for example, or if you're driving in like some of the great roads that I've driven recently as well, like in the Peak District, or, you know, I've got content coming hopefully around sort of like the New Forest area in some pretty cool cars, to be fair, 40th edition and a TCR, and hopefully to drive a Mark 7 Clubsport S soon as well for the channel. So yeah, hopefully that all goes ahead soon and I can kind of share it and compare it with you as well, similar to what I'm doing now. So GTI Clubsport, if you're the sort of person that just wants that fun car, you can certainly live with it every single day. It comes with standard 18-inch wheels. If you don't have adaptive dampers, it's still comfortable. If you do have DCC, it's even more comfortable and it adds that flexibility. Both cars can work as a daily, put it that way. Both cars are fun, both cars are fast. The Mark 8 Golf R for me, the car that I've built up for the channel over the last couple of years. I'm sitting in my Mark 7 Golf R now. I'm a big fan. For me personally, it is the car that I would go for if I had that one car garage, just because it's just that little bit better kind of as like daily, that sort of do everything kind of car. I live in the UK, it rains a lot, it's cold a lot. You know, I can probably count 1 or 2 weekends this entire year where it's been proper hot, sunny, you know. And funny enough, one of the days I actually drove a GTI Clubsport, so that was a bit weird. And that was at the start of the year, surprisingly. With that four-wheel drive, you put the power down, it is so stable. It's probably one of the bad things about it, it's probably too capable. Like when you step into another car, you have to kind of readjust, basically. These cars, they just do things that your mind doesn't really express in the corners. You know, you can really attack it and you will put all its power down. You know, just over 300 horsepower, 320 horsepower. Some say it's a little bit closer to 340 on sort of like a dyno. More than powerful enough. Both cars are more than powerful enough. And it just gets going. It was so fun to drive. Really was fantastic drives that I've had in the car. And owners can kind of say the same, to be fair, as well. And I've done Q&As with them as well. And they kind of, yeah, back up that theory. Noise wise, both cars sound very similar. I've tried both with the Aquapovich exhaust because I drove a CS45, a limited edition Clubsport, which did have an Aquapovich exhaust. That sounded great. I've driven one without. I've driven a Mark 8 Golf R without an Aquapovich exhaust, and I've driven one with. So I've had a good sort of overview. As it turns out, once you get both cars warmed up, there's no real difference in sound. They both pop and bang. They both make great noises. They both have the same engine. It's this same EA888 engine, which I love so much. It's in this car that I'm sitting in now, my car. And yeah, it's just such a good unit. It's such a good, capable, reliable engine, which is also fun to drive and makes a good noise out of the exhaust. Sure, you get sound imposers, stuff pumped through from the engine to the cabin, but I don't mind it. I personally quite like it, and I like the change in the modes as well. You can definitely go more chilled in a Mark 8 Golf R. When you sort of put it in eco and in comfort, it really does become pretty docile, to be honest with you. Mark 8 Clubsport, you know, it's still that little bit lighter, still just as easy as a daily, but yeah, it's still just that little bit more edge. And I think that was the one thing when I both drove them both for the first time, and actually on back-to-back weekends, I sort of said I was more egged on in the Club Sport to sort of push a little bit harder, if that made sense. You wanted to drive it fast, whereas the Mark 8 Golf R, you didn't really mind driving it slow. And that's just how I came across with it. And hopefully these kind of comments and thoughts that I'm kind of saying, it will help you out if you're deciding between them and you're not too sure. Obviously there is a price difference between them. The Club Sport is a few £1,000s less, so that has got to be taken into consideration, and that's a big consideration because that's money that you can put towards other things, fuel to drive the car, to take it to some of the roads that I've taken it to, for example. Both cars you definitely cannot go wrong with, but if you want that one car that absolutely does everything, the Mark 8 Golf R just edges it for me, and that's just my kind of thoughts. But if you get a Club Sport, you know, it's just such a brilliant car. And that was the big surprise to me. You know, I spoke about the car a couple of times, maybe a few years ago, but now it's really kind of totted up. And I'm really looking forward to driving the 40th actually in the TCR from the Mark 7 generation, just to see what those kind of cars like. Obviously, being in a Mark 7 Golf R for 4 years, that's going to be a really good comparison. But please check back on my content if you want to know between these two cars, which one's maybe best for you. There's so little in it. It really is so little in it that you can't go wrong with either. And whichever you then decide to go for, you won't have regrets for not getting the other one. I think that's the main thing to say. But for me personally, I would lean towards the Mark 8 Golf R, and that's kind of where I am at. I'll leave you with some cool clips, some cool noises of both cars. But thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. That really does help build this channel and build this community channel. And it's coming along really great, and it's all down to you guys. And I am massively appreciative of that, so thank you so much. Enjoy these clips, and comments welcome below as always, as this is a community channel. Like yeah, in perfect world, if you could have this. Oh, nice. That was shots fired. Yeah, it's literally. Yeah, I just can't believe it. I can't believe I had the opportunity just to try it out, even for this sort of short drive, just to give you an idea what this performance pack car is like. You know, it's good. Negatives. Price. All cars are expensive. All cars are expensive. This car, £43,000, but you don't pay cash. You pay finance or lease. I think it's worth it. I think if you wanted a special car for that special occasion, this can be that. And if you wanted a car to go to work in, this can be that as well. Why would you need any other car? Like, seriously. I mean, why would you need anything that's faster than this? Knock it down a few. It's just unreal. It's so easy. Oh my God, the DSG. It's just so easy. You don't even need to try. It just works, you know? It just works. Wow. Well, I'm coming to the end of the drive. I can't thank. Let's see how the brakes are. Yeah, they're good. I mean, this road is awful. But, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What is this?